everybody, welcome to another edition of Toddster's Magical Mystery Review. I'm your host Toddster, and today we're going to take a look at George Harrison's 33 and a Third. Yes, came out November 19th, 1976 on Warner Brothers / Dark Horse. George was pretty busy around this period. Once he got out of his EMI contract, he moved to AMN Records originally with his Dark Horse label, and before he was able to make an album, he had to be in court where he was sued for plagiarizing that He's So Fine song with My Sweet Lord, and yet to top it all off, he was sued by AMN for late delivery for his album while he was making it. So once that happened, he moved all his music business to Warner Brothers, and the first album he put out with them is a pretty awesome album, and yet the name 33 and a Third not only represent the speed of the album, but also was his age by this time. And but yeah, let's take a look at the songs. So start up with "Woman, Don't You Cry for Me." Yes, George actually started writing this back in '69 when he discovered slide guitar while touring with Delaney and Bonnie, and yet this sounds more like a country meets funk due to Willie Wick's slap bass playing, and it's a pretty cool song. And then we go into "Dear One." Yes, George stated that this was the only song he wrote with an open A tune guitar. And yet was inspired by Yogananda, the author of Autobiography of a Yogi. It's a beautiful song. He had lovely, simple backing to it. We go into "Beautiful Girl," which another song which George started working back in '69. Yet it wasn't finished until he met Olivia. He sort of put in the middle eights in it, and but this sort of has a like a mid Beatles vibe to it. So like it could have been off of Rubber Soul, but yeah, it's another great song. And then we go into this song. Now this was inspired by the My Sweet Lord He's So Fine lawsuit, and it features Eric Idle doing the Pepper Potts voices. Oh, isn't it sugar pie honey punch? No, it sounds more like Rescue Me. And it has a dig at Brighttunes, which was suing George. This tune has nothing bright about it, and it's a wonderful highlight of the album. And check out the video as well. Even features Ronnie Wood as one of the Pepper Potts. And then we end the first side with "See Yourself." Now this was written back in '67. Was inspired by an acid trip, and was actually was written when Paul announced that he took some LSD, and all hell sort of broke loose for a bit. And the way that that it changes the time from 9/8 to 4/4 is pretty amazing. And then it's yet another great song. So we flip the record and we go into "It's What You Value." Yet another great song. It's so many great songs on this album. This one is yet another great song. Yet could have used more cowbell. You know, nudge nudge, wink wink, say no more. Then we go into the only cover on the album, True Love. Yes, it's the old Cole Porter tune. Yet done in a classic solo George style. Yet he also made a video of it, which was directed by Eric Idle. And we go into Pure Smokey. This is George's other tribute to Smokey Robinson. Yet more improved with this one compared to his last tribute. Yeah, great overdubbed backing vocals from George, and you know, a nice guitar solo. And we go into the big hit of the album, top 20 hit for George, Crackerbox Palace. Yes, this was inspired by Lord Buckley's older LA place. In case you don't know, Lord Buckley was an old comedian which George was a big fan of, and yet George sort of wrote the words to on the back of a ciggy pack. And yeah, he even does Lily von Stupp impression from Blazing Saddles. You know, it's true. Yeah, it's another great highlight, and yet another awesome video. Yeah, and to me, it's one of his best solo tracks, and yeah, and then we finally end the album with Learning How to Love You. Oh, yeah, and George wrote this with Herb Alpert in mind. At that time was running AMN Records. Yeah, so in my opinion, it's the best song off the album. Yeah, I just love the backing. You know, more electric piano, heavy type backing, but yeah, and you know, it's set in F sharp, and the guitar, and George's guitar solo is so really melts your heart a bit listening to this song. It's lovely, absolutely lovely. So we go into its bonus song, Tears of the World, which actually was made for the Somewhere in England album just 4 years later. Yeah, I'm not sure why it's on this album and not on the Somewhere in England bonus pack, but yeah, it was written as a sort of a concern about the environment and the pollution and the road leaders behind it, and it even recalls While My Guitar Gently Weeps, you know, when your love's been sleeping, and yeah, this was one of the songs that Warner Brothers rejected, you know, in favor of more upbeat tempo. But we'll talk about that when we get to that album. Yet if you listen to it on Spotify or get it on iTunes, you also get another bonus song, an early mix of Learning How to Love You, and lots of reverb on this mix. Yet I'm glad they didn't use it. You know, it sounds more boxy and, you know, and less sexy. But yeah, so that's the album. So what to say? Well, this is definitely his best album since All Things Must Pass, you know, and more upbeat, more uplifting material, you know, compared to, you know, his last albums, which were more downbeat. But yeah, it's a pretty happy album, and probably in my top 5 favorite George solo albums. So I'm gonna give this 4 Georges out of 5. Yeah, so 4 Georges for 33 1/3. So yeah, my name is Toddster, and you just watched another Magical Mystery review, and we'll see you next time. Until then, toodaloo.